Hello there. My name is Vincent, and this is a reading for all the Geminis out there. This is attempt number something to do your reading, Gemini. But we're here today. I'm recovering from some kind of sinus infection, and we've got a crazy thunderstorm right outside, as has been the case pretty much every day this last week. And I figure it's a great time to do your reading because that's the kind of energy that I feel like you've been working with, is this very volatile, changeable, stormy energy. 1 minute everything is quiet, and the next torrential downpour, lightning, thunder, wind. It's getting pretty wild out there, so we'll see if it has any accent to place on any points of the reading. Some stress, some emphasis. I'm still working with the Taro Yohualli Ehécatl by MiCorazonMexica. At least that's their username on both Etsy and on Instagram. So if you're curious and want to get yourself your own copy of this deck, highly recommend it. Go ahead and check them out. Definitely my favorite deck at the moment. Okay. So Gemini, since I've been struggling to connect with you guys over the last several days and have been attempting to do readings for you, I've been leaving myself very open to synchronicities and impressions that might have something to lend the message for you guys. And there was one that I was just thinking about a few minutes ago that had happened either yesterday or today. It'll come to me at some point, I'm sure. Okay. So the card at the center of the reading for you today is Yohualli, which is the Tower card. And honestly, I think this succinctly sums up the impression that I have been getting connecting with your energy. You know, again, that very volatile, changeable, sudden shift sort of energy where things are just moving very quickly, immediately, and then maybe giving you a moment to breathe, and it's like you're still reeling from whatever had happened, whatever the tower moment was. To me, it almost feels like building sandcastles at the beach a little too close to the water line, and it's like every time you complete one of them, this big wave comes and totally washes it away, but you immediately start building another tower, and then the same thing happens a few minutes later. And I think part of the message there is obviously changing your environment. Maybe you have been trying to establish something which would otherwise be stable in unstable places. And I think, especially with the warrior or the page of jade, I think that's what this card is. Chalchultelpocatl. I don't remember if that's the page or the knight, but I'm pretty sure it's the page of pentacles, basically. Page of earth. I think this situation is teaching you self-reliance. There's so many impressions, I don't even know where to start or what to narrow down on. You know, with this card, it connects to, at least for me in this moment, it's connecting to this idea of honing in on a skill or honing in on some fiscal venture, some business venture even. But it's like, it's not your first time. Like with this Tower card here, it's like, again, you'd already tried building up these sandcastles. You'd already been working on this skill or establishing this business, this venture, this source of material security. We'll kind of sum it up vaguely like that. Excuse me. And now that this current iteration of the Tower moment for you has happened, I think you're gathering from that the necessary experience, and when I say that, it's again really emphasizing this need to be independent, to establish something of your own making. Maybe working for yourself as opposed to working for somebody else. You know, being your own employer, your own boss, going, what is that word? I cannot think. I'm still recovering from whatever this sinus head cold thing was, and I'm still a little cloudy. What is it? Entrepreneur, thank you. Such a simple term. Siwatla Makaski, this is the High Priestess. And I'm hearing like this has been a long time coming, and it's been something that you've been aware of as necessary, a necessary shift, a necessary change, but it was like either you weren't in any hurry to make it happen, or maybe it just didn't feel like the path of least resistance for you to have made the change up until this point. But it's like this Tower card kind of forced your hand. This situation of sudden upheaval and shift, the storm that blew through and knocked loose the roof shingles is what I'm hearing, is forcing you to deal with the situation in your immediate vicinity. And I feel like this is the voice that's saying, well, I saw this coming, and it's like, well, I knew I needed to go here anyway, and now that I'm here, you know, I might as well quiet myself and listen to my inner guidance again, because it wasn't leading me wrong. Part of what this card is also telling me is a sense of having already done planning for this situation, already having the blueprints available to you, so to speak. Maybe having, if this is about like a business venture, maybe already having business plans kind of bouncing around in your mind anyway. So it's not like you're moving through this situation and being thrust into something new completely unprepared. It's like it almost happened perfectly. Like you couldn't have asked for a better time for it to have happened. It didn't happen too soon, and it didn't happen too late. And yeah, I mean, any Tower moment is going to feel like, for lack of a better way to put it, like shit as you're going through the process, because deconstruction is painful. You know, there's a lot of threads that need to be unraveled in order for that process to occur comfortably. And so when some situation or some kind of energy just comes through and like slices through all the cords, it's like, you know, the ends are frayed. How do we piece all this back together into something that we can actually work with? And as I'm saying that, I'm seeing this image of like your hands like trying to grab these cords that have been cut, and there's like a third hand with a lighter that's like burning the ends of the threads that have been exposed by the cut. Very strange imagery, but I feel like it's emphasizing this point of it's going to work out. Like You don't need to reconnect all these strings. You know, they are going to lay where they're going to lay. And I feel like that fire analogy, the lighter at the end of the chord, is part of like a healing process of sorts. You know, the landscape looks completely different now, but the threads can stand alone. Like the underlying structure or the underlying the blueprint, whatever you have kind of built up, it's not destroyed, it's just changed in some way. It's shifted. Okay. So I have to pause the video every now and then because I'm getting over this cough. But I do want to pull some more cards. And it's so weird. I'm like kind of absent-mindedly scanning the titles of these cards and noticing that the C's and the T's are the only letters in the Nahuatl names of the cards that are printed in red ink as opposed to the standard black that's used for the rest of the word. CT, and I just keep, like, my eyes just keep going back and forth, and it's like automatic. I can't really stop it. Like, what does that mean? CT. Just these cards, huh? Okay, the number of times this card has come up in the readings that I've attempted to do for you already. I see you. I see this card. I'm not ignoring it. Okay, the other card that you got was Ehécatl. This is the King of... I almost said the King of Wands. King of Hearts. You can see the heart right there. I like this little solar rod that he's got in his hand. I'm not sure what that is. And I think this is associated with the Aztec god Tlaloc. He lives in the mountain. He's the god of rain. At least I'm pretty sure. But yeah, where to begin? Okay, so with this card kind of crowning this Four of Wands right here, you know, this is severing stability. This is severing a union, marriage, relationship, partnership, contract. The Four of Wands to me always represents an attempt of the will to establish security and stability and fixedness into reality. And we kind of symbolically do that by building up our houses with our four walls, our four corners, our roof. You know, it's an attempt for us to maintain security and stability in an otherwise very changeable and sometimes even very violent world. And the Tower moment feels to me like somebody pulling the wrong Jenga block out of the tower and everything just comes crumbling down. Yeah, I'm seeing that scene in The Hunger Games. It's like a flashback where Katniss is remembering the aftermath of her father's death in the coal mines and how it's visualized as their family home being blown apart by the explosion that took place in the mine, and then everything kind of slowly coming back together, and she's sitting there shouting at her mother, who is completely emotionally absent. And I feel like to me, sort of feel to be embodying both aspects of that. You are both the emotionally absent mother and the one screaming for engagement. Because it's not like this situation arose without any warning or without any road signs along the way. Like, you've had ample time to prepare. You've had ample time to, and I feel like you have been preparing for this. Like I said, like, you're not completely without resources navigating this. You've already established a support, backup plan, network, whatever, for yourself in this, in the instance of needing to walk down this path. But of course, there's still fallout. There's still, loss associated with this being torn asunder. But I also feel like there's a need to acknowledge that this isn't lost. It's the appearance of it that's been lost. Like, it's still there. It's still at the foundation of your reading right here. Like, it's still supporting you. I'm hearing, like, you have plenty to be grateful for. You have plenty that is working out in your favor. And it's just enough to get you to the next phase. And as I'm saying that, I'm being fixated on the corn that's in the background here. It's like the ripened grain, the ripened harvest, the life-giving abundance of the earth. Like, all of that is what is before you. Like, you have yet to get there, but you are going there as a result of traversing this path. And by gathering the splayed ends of your once braided emotional landscape, and like I said, it's like the threads, the braid has been sliced by a knife, and the braid is kind of like coming undone, but the lighter comes through and singes the ends. I feel like with this King of Hearts here, the braid is like coming back together again. Like, the stability is being reestablished. The not the coercion, not the cooperation necessarily either. It's like I can't think of the word. I guess implied in it is like this emotional mastery. Like, rather than being very reactive to the situation and allowing your lower faculties to kind of overwhelm you with stress and anxiety about what's going to happen next, about how you're going to, support yourself or make this thing a reality. You're instead like trying to establish an inner quiet, an inner silence, an inner mastery that allows you to navigate this otherwise volatile situation, or at least it appears volatile on the surface. I feel like it really isn't. Like, in the when you pull back and look at the larger picture, I'm hearing it's not that deep. It's not that serious. It feels like it to you in the moment, and it's easy to get kind of swept up by the feelings that it forces you to confront. But with this card, it's like you are not your feelings. Your feelings arise within you. You are not the rain or the clouds the rain is falling from. You are that which compels the rain to exist at all. You are the sky within which the rain condenses and falls to the earth. I think more often than not, in this current iteration of our human society, we identify with our emotions and our emotional reactions to situations when it's reminding me of that old phrase, I think, therefore I am, as if your thoughts or the feelings that arise within your consciousness are the very thing that determine who and what you are. Any random number of thoughts and feelings can arise within you at any given moment, even things that you wouldn't typically associate with your character or with who you feel yourself to be. And again, feel yourself to be, that's another layer of identity that ultimately isn't you either. So I think what this card is inviting you to do is to look beneath those layers of identification rather than identifying with the anger that comes up or the grief that comes up, acknowledging that you are a deeper current underneath it all. You know, you're not the waves cresting at the surface, you're the entire ocean. Flow with this process. It's going to, maybe be tumultuous, and the waves are going to reshape the surface of your world, so to speak. But it's like, in the end, when everything settles again, you'll have fertile ground to plant your dreams in, to plant your ideas, and to watch them grow and multiply, and then you'll be able to sit on your throne and think to yourself that I did that. Not my thoughts, not my feelings. Me wielding my will and painting on the earth, leaving my brushstrokes and my color choices behind. And this stability doesn't have to be married to a marriage or a house with 4 walls and a roof over your head. It can be the earth under your feet. As long as you exist and as long as that exists, you will always be cared for, you will always be supported, you will always be nurtured, and you will always be capable of creating a better world for yourself and for the people that depend on you and that are around you. And you know that. Everything I'm saying, you already know. You don't need me or anybody else to be telling you this. You are here because you feel like you do, but that's the wonder of the tarot, is just constantly putting a mirror in your face and saying, hey, everything I'm saying you already know. The question is the answer. Or rather, the querent is the answer. Has the answer. One last thing that I want to say, and it's coming up because I'm looking at the headdress that this page of jade is wearing, and it's a monkey, or at least it appears to be a monkey to me, is remembering to play and to have fun with this process. Kind of going back to, it's not that deep, it's not that serious. Like, it really doesn't have to be. Obviously, things can feel very stressful and very life or death in some instances, especially when this very Mars tower energy comes through. This very acute, immediate crisis energy comes in. But like, you can dance in the ashes. You can dance even as the bricks are falling. This is such a strange image, but it's like almost comical. Like watching the castle you've built fall apart around you and laughing and dancing in the center of it all. Because even the breakdown is beautiful. There's so much wisdom being imparted to you in the process. And you didn't come here to suffer. You came here to learn and to grow and to create and to play. Human life is like a sandbox. You know, we create shapes with the mud of the earth and give them life and form. And it adds so much variety, variegation, color, diversity, and complexity, and delicious nuance to the fabric of reality. That's what we're here to do. I'm kind of hesitant to even say this, but I feel like you're going to be experiencing more of this. There's going to be more continued shakeups, more changes in routine, changes in the circles that you orbit within. Because this process is ongoing, this tower moment. But like I said, it's like you have a breakdown one moment, and then you have a moment to catch your breath and breathe, and it's like the sun is out, and then another storm comes through. But it's like the maintenance of life requires both the inhale and the exhale. Both aspects are necessary. The calm, creative moments and the violent, destructive moments. It's all part of the reshaping, refining process that is living and creating as a living being. So give yourself space to enjoy yourself, to play with this process, to dance in the face of it. Don't let your emotional responses rule over you, because they arise within you. All right, I feel like there's some other things that I could say, but I think that fairly well sums everything up for you guys that I'm getting right now, and that I have been getting over the last few days. This is like the first time I've been able to really gather everything together as neatly as I have in this video. if you even consider it neat, I don't know. But yeah, I wish you all the best. Happy birthday and happy belated birthday to all the solar Geminis out there. I know it's nearing the end of your Gemini month, so yeah. Wish you all the best. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all soon.